Happy Thursday. We got Thursday night football, pretty good NBA slate coming in with no action last night. No action on the NBA games. You guys know, no edge, no bets. No action on the college football bowl games either. But those favorites, like we mentioned, and did end up going 3-1 yesterday. Was just a bit of a chalk day and really a bit of a chalk bowl season, the way these lines have moved with all the updates with transfers and everything else. So we'll see if that continues going on later on tonight. John, how we doing? Hopefully we can get some winners going here on this NBA slate.
Let's hope so. Look, the sharps in college, they know what they're doing. They're on top of every one of these kids, what they mean. And that's why I say, unless I can tell you exactly what each kid that's not going to play is worth, I can't consider myself an expert in college football, as I do in NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball. I know exactly if somebody's going to sit out. If Ja Morant, he's got an illness tonight, if he's out, what is he worth exactly to the Grizzlies? So they're just killing it, and we'll see more of that today. We've seen Miami, Florida go from a 6-point favorite on the opener. Rutgers now a 2.5-point favorite. K-State's gone down a couple of points from 5.5 to 3. Arizona, not much movement. They were a 1-point favorite, now sitting at 2. But you guys get the picture. They know what's going on. It's not the line maker's fault. The line makers make a line based on what they knew at the time, and then you've got all these kids just jumping in. Florida State was a team that I was looking at for the bowl season. Just thought that they might come with something to prove by getting left out of that Final Four. Georgia may be a little bit of a letdown after playing 2 seasons in a row for the national championship, winning 2 seasons in a row. Maybe a little letdown for them. But now Florida State's got a bunch of kids also leaving again. Just leaves that game out there. So I'm going to be leaving bowl season alone. I don't know if Ben has got anything for you guys today.
Yeah, nothing on today's slate as of now. It's kind of just one of those missed the boat when the initial big hit comes once it's announced how many guys are sitting out. And then if you miss that move, it's tough. But I wouldn't go against the moves. I'll tell you that. There's a reason you see big swings. Rutgers going from a 6-point dog to a favorite. Even though you missed the number, I wouldn't go against that move at this point in the year. They just know too much.
Right. So that being said about college football, I guess we can talk about the pro football game tonight, Ben.
Yeah, pretty good Thursday night football matchup, Jets and the Browns. Just very fascinating for the rematch of last year based on what happened. If you guys don't remember, Cleveland with a 13-point lead late in the game. That's actually a touchdown lead late in the game, I should say. Chubb runs away with it, goes in the end zone, should have just slid on the knee. 60 seconds left. They missed the extra point. Jets go with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco leading the Jets this time. He goes, runs the table, gets a touchdown, onside kick. They recover it, and they get another touchdown. That missed extra point comes back, bites him in the dust. So weird revenge game we have going today for the Browns. Even weirder because Joe Flacco's the one who's QBing for him, and he's been playing pretty good. His last 3 games, phenomenal. The only thing I will say is the interception has been a bit of a problem. 2 interceptions this week, 2 interceptions last week. And I believe I might be quoting the stat wrong, but they did like the full season where if you were to, if Flacco were to produce at the rate he has for these 3 games of the full season, he'd set a record in both passing yards and interceptions thrown. So he's doing good, doing a lot, but doing some bad things as well. And that's what the Jets have been taking care of business with. All these games the Jets have been competitive in has been forcing interceptions. They did it against Mahomes. Their win against the Eagles, they did it with the interceptions. It's going to be an interesting way to see if they can keep in the game here tonight. As bad as the Jets are, as bad as they are for letting the Commanders in that game last week, that was another one. They were forcing interceptions there. Would be Jets with the points or nothing in this one for me. As great as Joe Flacco's been, that's been his one problem, and that's been the only way the Jets have been winning games and staying in games is by forcing turnovers.
Oh, and they could have a bigger problem. Amari Cooper, who had a game for the ages last week, 265 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. They've got him listed as questionable with a heel issue. Just keep in mind, Cleveland basically a lock to make the playoffs at this point. So if your top wide receiver is the least bit not 100%, probably not going to send him out there. We'll wait to see on Cooper. Again, No Cooper going to make that Jet secondary even tougher for Flacco to pass on. I don't know if Ben mentioned this as I'm looking at some other lines, but Flacco now, since taking over Week 13, leads the NFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns. 10 passing touchdowns, which happens to be the number of touchdown passes the Jets have for the year.
Yeah.
Both a crazy game here. Both teams working on their fourth quarterback of the year in two separate places. Both teams are real good defenses, but both teams have been playing to the over lately. Jets somehow have actually scored 30 points in two of their last three games. The middle game was a donut. They were shut out at Miami. Cleveland, since Flacco's back on the team, they're scoring a ton of points. For their last 5 games have gone over, averaging close to 50 points per game. Weather looks good in Cleveland tonight for a Cleveland late December night game in Cleveland. Low 40s. There may be some rain. Very limited wind. Wind is always the issue in Cleveland. A very low total here. So I'm looking at the over, and I'm looking at the Jets. A lot of that's going to depend on if Amari Cooper's playing or not.
Yeah, we'll have to see what's going on with that injury, as going to be the same thing for the NBA slate. Injuries. You guys want those updates later on today, sign up on massaedge.com or download the Massa Edge app. And, yeah, we got a fascinating Thursday night football game, just a lot of weird storylines to it. And as far as the revenge angle, we talked about that a little bit. Might be a little bit of a revenge thing for Flacco as well. He got benched last year for Wilson. When Rodgers got hurt week 1, he gave him a call, said, hey, I'm ready to go. I know the playbook. And the Jets said, no, we're good. We'll ride with Wilson. So maybe this is a little bit of a prove-it game for him in that sense as well. We'll see what goes on there with the Thursday night football game. And this NBA slate, John, it just picks up with the injuries right off the bat. I mean, this first game on the slate, Pistons at the Celtics, Tatum and Brown, both questionable. This is the worst team in the NBA versus the best team in the NBA, and it's the biggest spread on the season for a good reason. You have Pistons 27 in a row. They lost all 4 against the Celtics last year by an average of 13.8 points. Prior to that, though, Pistons in the prior years did give the Celtics a good run for their money. They would keep it close. They would make it. They would cover a lot. Those were 6 straight covers before that. So we'll see if they have anything in them to keep it within 17. Is this going to be one of those weird days where the worst team in basketball, who hasn't won a game in 27 straight, could possibly upset a team who hasn't lost at home this year, John?
Yeah, so the actually posted this. What I thought was the funniest comment was Kendrick Perkins saying the Pistons have as much chance of beating Boston today as he had having breakfast with Oprah and Beyonce. It just ain't happening. But Celtics are listing Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown questionable.
Yep.
They play tomorrow. They host the Raptors tomorrow. So some guys might be getting a day off in front. You know, either Horford or Porzingis will sit tonight. Horford doesn't play back-to-back, and Porzingis hasn't been playing back-to-back. So with a back-to-back, expect either Porzingis or Horford to sit tonight and the other guy to sit tomorrow. Now, Tatum, Brown, I doubt they sit both of them, but it is Detroit. So we'll wait to see. Again, ratings numbers-wise, if you go to my ratings, Celtics are about 22 points better than the Pistons. Now, in the ratings, again, that's a number, but there's the regression number. There's the rubber band number. When it gets to a number that's that high, especially with the Celtics having a game tomorrow, if you're up 15, 18, 20, you're going to get Porzingis if he's playing. Brown, Tatum, and a couple of extra minutes on the bench anyway. So you're always going to draw that number back a little bit. So it's could be only taking the Pistons at plus 17. And I hate to say that I'm not taking them. But again, all has to do with the injuries. You're talking about major swings if they decide to sit Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis and or Horford.
We'll wait to see on those injuries like the rest of the games. This next one just continues that same theme. Mavs at Minnesota. Towns questionable. Luka, he was questionable all day yesterday, ended up playing, and the Mavs still lost to that Cleveland team. got to give a shout out to the coach, Bickerstaff, for the Cavs. I mean, what are they now? 5-1 their last 6, playing with no Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, getting it done. Get another one done. Down by 20 last night. Dallas has to win that game. They blow that one. And you have the Wolves coming off getting blown out at OKC. Wolves some success in the matchup history. They did get a nice win at Dallas earlier this season. This would be a slight lean here to Minnesota on this matchup. Got to see what's going on with Luka in here on the points. A lot of points to lay in this matchup, but good chance Luka gets the night off, John.
Yeah, just what Ben said, man. Hats off to Cleveland. That's 2 games in a row without 3 of your 5 stars, not just starters, stars.
Yep.
Mitchell, Garland, Mobley. He's got the job done at a red-hot Chicago Bulls team last time and down 20 to Dallas at Dallas and come away with that win. Look, I think it was halftime. I was strumming through Instagram and I saw a play Luka had driving to the hole, over his head pass to knock down a 3. I posted that up on my Instagram story and I put in there, put 4 guys from LA Fitness on the floor with Luka and their playoff team. No sooner than I put it up there, I jinxed the poor bastard. Cavs went on a run and took the lead in the 4th quarter and closed it out. Great job by the Cavs. So, Luka plays Monday, Christmas Day, has a monster game, has another big night last night, but they don't get it done. And now he's back on the floor again today. He was questionable before yesterday's game. You got to think it's possible he sits out tonight. He's questionable. Cat questionable for the other side. Back-to-back, 3rd and 4th for Dallas, while Minnesota's been off since losing their game at OKC the other day. Look, Minnie will be home waiting for a tired Dallas team. Remember, Dallas shorthanded to start with. No Kyrie. Kleber's been out for a while. They'll come in their tough spot. Minnesota's had their way with them, crushed them 119-101 at Dallas earlier this year. Another game, guys, what can I say? Waiting on the injuries.
All injuries, guys. This next game, not as much. Jazz back and healthier a little bit now. Jazz final game of a 3-1 trip. They started this trip the worst road team in the NBA, and they're playing pretty good on it right now. Coming off a nice win in San Antonio. Marking another big night there. They're now 6-2 straight up against the spread their last 8. And the Pelicans coming off a home loss to the Grizzlies in overtime. Got to have that game with the revenge factor. And they've gone from one of the best home teams in the NBA to now losing 3 in a row at home, 2 of those to the Grizzlies. 2 weeks ago, I would have been frothing at the mouth looking at this Pelicans team getting Utah on the last game of a road trip. Like I said, worst road team in the NBA at the time. Now looking to coming in, Jazz playing pretty good basketball. This is a lot of points. They play well in the matchup. They're 7-1 straight up against the spread the last 8 meetings. And lean here's to Utah on this one. We'll see. This should be the Pelicans' bounce back chicken soup spot, but a couple games in a row, they're just dropping the ball at home. No interest in laying the points with the Pelicans.
So you get Utah, as Ben said. Let's go back 10 days ago. Utah was the worst road team, a red-hot Pelican team, and those are kind of come back together a little bit now. Jazz looking much better, and that's, again, because of health. Markkanen back, playing well. Clarkson back. Last 2 games playing well. They get Kenyatta George back. Their last game, they're back to 100% healthy. Pelicans, while 100% healthy, are just not getting the job done right now. And what a egg again against the Grizzlies. Last week, it was a 24-point lead in Ja's first game back. Below that one, the Houston Rockets come in, beat them in a close one, and then they choke up a 14-point fourth quarter lead to the Grizzlies again. So a Pelican team that I had up there just under the top 3. I call my top 3. Actually, it's a top 2.5. It's Denver, Minnesota. It's Clippers if Kawhi is healthy, which he's missed the last 3 games. And I'm going to tell you who's sneaking up there too. This OKC. You know, I keep saying future. Maybe the future now. Yeah. Williams and SGA 36 apiece. This Holmgrom's a blocking machine. This team is nice, and they just keep edging up there. But getting back to the Pelicans, dropping down a little bit now. The Pelicans. Here's a game they need to win, but the numbers where the numbers should be 8.5. That's right where I make it, and that's giving Pelicans a little sway because, as Ben said, last game of the trip. When we get these teams, especially you take a trip that started before Christmas, and they're still on the trip going back. These guys, remember, these aren't machines. These are young 20-year-old men. They've been away from home. Now they're getting back home. So they'll be looking to get back home, especially after a successful trip. 8.5, that's the right number on this one.
We had the Pacers going on in Chicago. Pacers coming off a nice win at Houston. They played their best style basketball. 8 guys reached double figures. Halliburton, 33, 10 dimes. And that's when Pacers are running good. They just play great ball. Everyone gets their touches. Everyone gets a piece of it. They're still, though, just 2-6 straight up their last 8. And his Bulls team keeps getting it done. They beat the Hawks the other night. That makes it now 11-2 against the spread their last 13 games. And how about Andre Drummond coming in for Vucevic, who's out? 24 points, 25 rebounds, and the book's already adjusted on his props. For him to get 15 rebounds tonight is minus 220. Jokic, the leading rebounder in the NBA, that would be plus money for him to get to 15. So that's how ridiculous it is. But when he gets his minutes, he's just a lock for 20 rebounds pretty much. So we'll see how that goes there tonight with Drummond and the Bulls. But they're playing good ball right now. Lean here is to Chicago for me until they stop. Can't go against it. And as far as the Drummond props, has to be that high against Indiana. All the big men eat. We saw Giannis 250 burgers against the Pacers this year. Big men have had success against them.
Drummond. This guy gets 10 boards in his sleep. So he starts with 10. I saw a stat. I actually put it on my story on Instagram. Andre Drummond has more 2020 games than Hakeem and Shaq. And I was even surprised at that. Look, I know he's a rebounding machine, but again, I was surprised at that number. Vucevic, he'll be out for the next 7 to 10 days. Can Drummond fill up that space? Does anybody can do it on a one game? Can he do it repeatedly? Like, he's going to get his boards. I don't know if he's going to get that amount of points. Colby White, he was a little down in the last game. Look, Chicago's been red hot. Indiana was ice cold until that last win at Houston. Brown will remain out. He'll miss his 3rd straight game. I think this number is right where it should be. Little home revenge Indiana comes with. Bulls beat them way back in October, 112-105 in Indiana. Again, solid game right there with the number.
And we have this Grizzlies team going on to Denver. As John said at the start, you do have John Morant questionable with the illness. And as you guys know, they've gone from a team who couldn't win a game last in scoring to now winning 4 straight with Morant back. And it's kind of all this game matters is with him. If anyone's checking, by the way, the Grizzlies to make the playoffs currently plus 350. If anyone's really buying into the John Morant being back, we saw the Lakers last year make a big run late, and they had similar odds at this point in the season to make it all the way into the playoffs. Denver, Aaron Gordon, eaten by a dog. I mean, what's up with these NBA injuries going on? They're going to be without him for a little while. And this Nuggets team, they've been heating back up. 8-1, 6-3 ATS, their last 9. They've had a lot of success in this matchup history, specifically in Denver. I mean, if Morant's out, close your eyes, bet the Nuggets. If he's in, my lean would still be to the Nuggets, but I need them to come low with the number.
Yeah, I got to wait on Ja. 4 games since he's back. Just unbelievable. I mean, you figured there'd be some type of ramp-up level. This guy was ready to go. Fresh legs. Everybody else has got 2 months worth of basketball in those legs, and he came in with fresh legs. You could see it. You could see the explosiveness. My number on this game is 7. With Gordon out, with Ja in. The line sitting right now is 7.5. So what this tells you, this line's going to back up. If Morant is in, we'll drop down 7 and lower, or we'll go obviously much higher if Morant is out. Look, just turn on your news channel, see all they're talking about is with the illness going around the whole country, whether it's COVID, this RCV, whatever it's called, doesn't stop at the basketball players. And you always got to watch how's it spread. So this Grizzlies on a road trip since before Christmas. Ja gets it. Got to get on the bus with him. Got to get on the plane with him. Got to be in the locker room with it. Yep. Always want to watch out for that. So, again, we'll be on the lookout as far as Aaron Gordon getting bitten up by a dog. Hopefully that don't get caught by the rest of the
Yeah.
You just can't make this shit up. So we'll wait to see the Ja. I mean, Ja's 4 points right now to the line. This was a dead team. I mean, Grizzlies were horrible. He's turned them around in 4 games. He's worth 4 points as far as my line's concerned.
Then we're going to have Spurs going on to Portland. They're coming off another loss at home. This one to the Jazz. They did shoot pretty well in that game. Vassell and Johnson, solid nights, but still 1-23 their last 24. And this Blazers team get it done against Sacramento. Sabonis and Fox, both big games combined for 77. But how about the bench? Outscored 65-13. And John's new favorite fan, Reith, with 25 points off the bench here. We'll see if his minutes continue to climb up here as DeAndre Ayton and Sharp both going to remain out tonight. Portland, as big of that win is, they're not playing that great a ball lately. Just 4-10, 5-9 against the spread at home. And Spurs, a little bit of success in this matchup history. Portland, though, getting it done important the last couple of meetings. John, and we're getting out the free bet in this game tonight.
This is the game. Yeah. I actually wrote in the preview, I'm going to hold my nose and bet the Spurs. So tough to bet the man. I just can't make Portland 4.5-point favorite over any team, including the Pistons, missing 2 of their starters. So Sharp out, Ayton out again. Now, as Ben said, Reith come off the bench, 25-9 the other day. I don't think he does that again. Yeah. Let's see with Wembanyama and Collins. D is on him. I think that was an offshoot, and that's why they have a successful game there. 4.5 points we took on the game. They're against us. This game is now sitting at 5. So, again, for me, if Portland's going to beat us, go ahead. You're missing, again, Ayton, Sharp, both out, 2 of your starters. I barely have Portland ahead of San Antonio, 4.5 points. And again, this is a 2-game set, by the way. These 2-game sets, you get 2 teams kind of equal. You can almost count on a split, and we'll see how those games go. But I got Spurs. 2-unit bet. Not, don't get crazy on this one, but I got to take the points with the Spurs.
If anyone wants to lose their mind a little bit, go look up Victor Wembanyama's teammates missing passes or sabotaging him. There's full-on highlight clips of just how bad it is with a 7'4" dude wide open and no one can seem to pass him at the right time. That stuff irritates the hell out of me, just missing him. We'll see if they figure that out, but agreed, numbers way too high on that game for Portland, and you could argue a little bit of a letdown factor after that win against Sacramento as well. We'll see what they have going on tonight. This next game on the card, we have the Heat at the Warriors. Miami gets it done Christmas Day. Spoelstra, I believe it's now 9-0 on Christmas Day, getting it done for him. This time, no Butler, no Embiid in that game. Butler, questionable again tonight. So's Lowry. And then you're going to have Robinson questionable as well. Martin and Richardson, both doubtful. Shorthanded Miami team coming into Golden State. This Warriors team playing better basketball right now. In the last 6 games, they're 5-1, 4-1-1 against the spread. They've had success in this matchup history at home, winning 7 of the last 8 meetings in Golden State. And this game to me is Warriors or nothing. If we're lucky, maybe Jimmy Butler ends up being ruled out in this game, and it comes back to a cheaper price for the Warriors. Wouldn't mind going against Butler in his first game back.
Yeah, first let me say I got Spoelstra. If he's not the best, he's one of the best coaches right now. And who's ever out, he just gets it done. Guys step up, and they just come in. However they got to fill it in, they fill it in. Bam was out, they fill it in for Bam. Orlando Robinson playing minutes at the center, starting center. Butler out. You got other guys coming off the bench. So ton of guys out tonight going to Golden State. Golden State had won 5 straight prior to Christmas. They fought Denver as tough as they could. If anybody caught the interviews after the game, Steve Kerr went a little crazy. I believe Jokic went to the free throw line 17 times. So he had an issue with how easy that they're making it for players to get free throws. Obviously, his team's not a free throw shooting team. They're a 3-point shooting team, so he wants to knock them. So that's kind of playing the refs in that spot. But okay, so Jaylen Brown out. Just got that now. Let's see if there's any more coming up. This will be a tough game, as Ben said. Still waiting for that Jimmy Butler info. All right, so what we got here now, as of right now, we got Tatum in, Jaylen Brown out for the Celtics. Still no word on Porzingis or Horford, but I can almost guarantee you one of the two will sit out. So that's where we are in the Celtic game. Golden State-Miami game, wait on Butler. If Butler's in, 3.5 points to me would be a take with Miami. That line will go down, obviously. Would depend on how quick we catch it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be at that Heat-Lakers game next week, so I'm hoping Jimmy Butler comes back healthy, see him by then as well. We'll see what's going on with him. Hornets, Lakers, last game on the card here. You have the Charlotte team. They covered against the Clippers the other night, didn't win the game, obviously, and they're continuing to be banged up. Hayward and Williams, both questionable. I'm sorry, Hayward and Williams both out. You have Miller, who missed the game. He's questionable. And then you have this Lakers team coming off a loss to the Celtics, continue to struggle since the in-season tournament. Both them in Indiana, 2-6 straight up against the spread their last 8. Still doing pretty well at home. You would think this is a little bit of a chicken soup game. And in previous years, I mean, LeBron has just absolutely owned Charlotte. That's his best record in his career against the Hornets. Obviously, MJ's former team, but he just sold them. So a team LeBron has absolutely owned throughout his career. We'll see if that continues. Lakers in the matchup history, 7-2, 8-1 against the spread the last 9. A little bit of home revenge here. I just can't lay this many points with the Lakers. They just don't cover. They've been winning at home, but this is a game I don't see them covering the double digits.
Yeah, look, this is a game that if you are up those big numbers, you probably want to get LeBron on the bench for a few. Yeah. And that's what we always talk about with laying the big numbers. Everybody thinks it's so easy. Just lay it. You can lay that number, and that back door is always going to be open. So if you get this game and you're ahead 15, like the Lakers could very well be in the fourth quarter, you're going to want to get LeBron on the bench because remember, the plan is for him to play 28 to 30 minutes, which is a joke. But here would be the opportunity for it. You get him on the bench, and maybe you get that little crawl back by the Hornets in this game. Now, Ben said LeBron has owned Charlotte in his career, but in the last 4 meetings, they've actually split the last 4 games with the Hornets winning in L.A. last year. Hornets put up a real fight against the Clippers. That game was a tie game in the fourth quarter. I mean, and they were totally outmanned. But had a tie game in the fourth quarter. Remember, staying in L.A., so there's no travel. Lakers will want to get a win here to get that bad taste of the Celtics out of their mouth. And they just haven't been playing good ball since winning the in-season tournament. But again, 12.5, 13 number right now, sitting at 12.5. Just too big of a number. But I'm not interested in taking Charlotte right now unless we find out more. Lakers, as usual, have AD and LeBron listed questionable. We laugh at that because we expect to see them in there, but they just have them questionable every day. And this is starting to get we'll be paying more attention to what the Bucks are doing with Giannis. Now, they're starting to pull a LeBron with him, and that cost us a bet yesterday. And I can only have to apologize to my guys because I should have been all over that. I wrote it in the preview. The Bucks hadn't played since Christmas Day at noon. They weren't playing again till Friday. There really was no reason for a rest day, and that's what they were saying. No. They attached no actual injury designation to it, and I should have saw through that, and that should have been a bet. And then when the Nets go and sit 3 guys, now the game goes from 8 to 10, and it would have been still even a bet at 10 had the information come out that the Nets were going to sit Thomas and Bridges, their only other 2 starters, after the first quarter. Mm-hmm. So it's all about the info, guys. But yes, I should have anticipated Giannis to play in that spot. Now that I see they're designating him more and more with the questionable tag, as they've done for LeBron and AD for the last 3 years.
Yeah, and that official stat, by the way, is LeBron 62-13 versus the Hornets in his career best win percentage against any team. And we'll see if Lakers get it done tonight with a double-digit cover. They're not really covering anything lately. That is the NBA slate. We got a Thursday night football game with a star wide receiver who just put up 250 yards last week, questionable. John Morant's questionable. Karl Anthony Towns is questionable. Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown was just ruled out. Stars everywhere around tonight, guys. Questionable tags. And if you guys want that information later on tonight as it gets updated, you guys want to know any bets we had based on that information that gets updated, sign up on the app or the website, John.
And that's what Massa Edge is. It is the best sports betting information site you're going to get. As soon as we get that injury info, bang, you get it right to your phone. Injury info, guys, once the line is set and that initial move on the overnight and in the morning is done, everything else is based on injuries. So that's what the key is of getting those injuries and getting them in a timely fashion. And we're right on top of them. As you saw, it just broke. We let you know Brown out, Tatum in for the Celtics.
And that is what's going on with the NBA slate. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe below. And John, if you have anything else other than that, let's win some games.
Yeah, let's win some games.